Hi guys, Ronnie here and welcome to the workshop. Today I want to talk about tools and spares. This is basically the first year that I really got seriously into cycling and racing, and most people think that it's enough to have a really nice bike, for example something like I have, but to be honest, to keep them on the road every day for training and racing, you really need quite a lot of things to do that. Now, some people are not really technically inclined, so that's perfectly okay. That's what bike shop's for. But I am, so I decided to have everything under my roof and to take care of my bikes the best as I can to keep training consistently and to not let me down in the races. Uh, I didn't really know where to start at the beginning of my cycling career, basically, but I have accumulated a little collection of tools and spares that I think are going to be useful, and maybe this is going to inspire you to set up a shop of yours. So, first things first, if you have a nice bike, you can just lean it up against the wall. So I use these Super Breeze stands. Also for the races and also in the workshop, they're nice and portable, quite light and very stable. So good for washing, transporting, and even some minor repair jobs. Now I have two bike stands. Cheap one. This is a Pro standard clamp stand. It works all right for most situations, but for a complete bike build, you really want something more stable and secure, so that's when I use the Park Tool PRS 2.2. Now I'm not completely satisfied with it, but I think one of these or one of each and you're set up for any occasion that can occur. Then I also have here some measuring devices. I'm not really a weight weenie, but I like to compare some stuff. So bike specific and a regular set of scales here. Then if you go further, one thing I found is very important when racing is proper inflation, because tire pressure is not a simple question, and I like to test that a lot, and I need a very precise instrument for that. So the silica pump, again, this is probably a bit too far-fetched, but I really like to have a quality pump and quality tools, because these are things you only need to buy once. And if you buy the proper ones, then you probably never need to take care of it ever again. Then if you look into my little storage area here that I've built, actually this was just an old rack, but I have quite a couple of things in here, a bit of a mess, so sorry for that. So let's just start at this corner. And these are boxes from some of my parts. I like to keep them because if I sell them or anything, they're, well, it's just better for the customer to have a complete with all their accessories. So let's just start here. Some cable outers for shifting. I don't really use that much of these on my own bikes because they're either electrical or I use the aluminum housing on the time trial bike, and spare mountain bike tires if anyone comes and needs something like that. I use Speedplay pedals, so there's a new set of cleats here, if I manage to open it with one hand. Yeah, there it is, unused. I also do some e-bike service, so some electrical spares right there. Bar tape, obviously, for road biking. I need a couple sets of spare bar tape in case you have a crash or you just wear it out or anything. Then brake and shift cables. I really like these non-coated polished Jaguar cables. I think they're the best on the market. The Shimano coated ones are also very good, but the coating starts to wear off over time, and then it does more harm. Then again, some pre-cut cable outers, a lot of these. Also Teflon liners, that sort of stuff. some remains of bar tape. They can come quite handy sometimes. Of course, inner tubes. Actually, I only have one butyl inner tube here. Gloves for gluing tuberals. I don't do that too much anymore. Then a couple of latex tubes. In here, different sizes. Thinner ones, thicker ones. Tubular glue, good for more stuff. Gluing guns, the silk balancing weights and so on, but also the tubulars themselves. Some brushes for that. Road racing tires. Cyclocross tires, time trial tires, some more tubes. All different sizes depending on needs. Anything special. 29 or 27.5, and also, of course, road bike tires. Then some tubular sealant. This green slime is what I'm going to try next. Some irregular stands. Then if you go to the other chemicals, fiber grip, very important for carbon bikes. Squirt lube, I don't really use that much, but if a customer comes in, it's good to have some more tubular sealant. Teflon spray, not as useful as I thought it would be. I just use regular thin oil for my speed plate cleats and it works much better. Some carbon care for the wheels. Again, some more squirt lube. Very important for me, ceramic speed, pulley wheel oil. Some stickers left here. Couple of spokes. They're actually not really usable anymore. I just use them as hooks and stuff. Oops. Yeah, very nice little thing. The small ceramic speed syringe. Actually, it's a different kind of grease in it, but it's just right, the right size for filling bearings and speed plate pedals. So, really like that. Then, if you get to these small cabinets, I have all kinds of small cabinets that could be really useful. So, we just start here: rotor bolts, these brake parts, adapters, bolts. Anything you need for these brakes, olives and such. Then these brake blocks, transport cases, hose cutter, tool, couple of spare chain links if I need to add or distract one of them. Some ceramic speed grease and lube also. Then if you there are different kinds of rim tapes here. Then some bottom bracket spacers, washers, things like that. Crank extractor bolts. This is a part I use quite a lot. Now these are different kinds of valves, valve caps, tubeless valve tools, tire lever, valve adapter. So basically everything for press to valves. Brake shoes, obviously need a couple of those to have as spares. Chain rivet links, some Di2 bits. I don't really use Di2 anymore, but again, if someone comes in and needs something, a couple of wires, junction over there, or the end plus sensor. Yeah, this one is empty. Then chainring bolts for SRAM chain rings, also good to have because sometimes they just round off. They're glued very tight. Speed sensor, Garmin. Some balancing weights. I do some wheel balancings on all my wheel sets. Spoke nipples, not that important, but they left over from one wheel build, so good to have some different kinds of bolts for bottle cages and some minor stuff. Then very important thing to have some spares for cables, cable end caps, pieces of aluminum housing, and these rubber bits to stop them rattling, connectors, all kinds of stuff. Then these very nice cable end caps that I just got. This one is for the housings. Yeah, so dual trap sensor, I don't use that anymore. The old pump head, I don't use that. Some Garmin mounts, GoPro mounts. Then if you go further, derailleur hanger, good thing to have in case you have a crash or anything. You're going to need that for your bike, and some bar and plugs. Sometimes you just lose those, so it's good to have a couple of those on spare. Actually, I don't really buy these things. They are just things that are left over from my bike builds or anything, but I think these are things that are worth keeping because they can help you out. So some more things over here. Spacers for the headset, then this little Di2 junction box holder. Then here are my lights. When I train in the winter and poor visibility, I always carry a set of lights. But actually the rear one, I always carry that. And there's front ones as well. Here are all kinds of chargers, so regular USB chargers, chargers for the lights, for Di2, E-tap, everything you will need. Shimano cleats, SPDs and road cleats as well, in case someone needs that. These are just boxes for my things. Then if you go to the tool side of things, more or less, Shimano bleed kit, tubeless tapes, all kinds of widths, fat bikes even, couple of bottom brackets, double-sided tape, really useful, and another Shimano Di2 charger. Then I also have some regular chain lube if I need to do custom a bike, different kinds of tape, electrical tape, packing tape, stickers. I'm really quite running low on grip tape. I'm going to need some of that. Foam strips, quite useful. Then I have two styles of grease, so this is low friction bearing grease for filling bearings, and then installation grease, this Aquaproof Morgan Blue paste, really nice stuff. A couple of derailleurs, these are just leftovers as pedals. I'm going to use these for my cyclocross bike build cassette. I don't really have as many wheel sets as I'd like now because the availability is very poor, so I've got one cassette left over. Then chain rings, semi-compact 52s for the 1x, and also some rotor ones. They don't really work with E-tap, so I'm going to need to sell those. Another bottom bracket. Yeah, these are just some filtration things to keep my chain wax clean. Then I really like to keep these SRAM carrier things for the cassettes if you remove those. Some Bosch parts and foam. Here are the tools themselves. I have a separate video showing these, but just a quick look. So the plastic bags in case I need to store something. These are some things for washing. SRAM bleed kit, bottom bracket tools, internal cable routing tools, cassettes, tool, chain whip, cable cutters. Yeah, derailleur hanger adjustment tool, very important if you want proper shifting. Wheel dishing tool. This is a complete bottom bracket press with all the things you could ever need and all the adapters. Spoke tension meter, really useful when chewing the wheels, and there are some Silca stuff, I believe, over here. Yeah, so these are things that I use for my wheels. These are spares for my pump head and some balancing kits. Again, some more rim tape and the pump adapters heads as well. So that's good to have. A pair of Garmin Vectors and a cork. These are going out to customers soon. Then SRAM EX1 group set. Again, this is for sale. Wheel bags. Really important to have wheel bags if you have a set of nice wheels. Then these are some leftover parts, really important in any way. And then my chain maintenance kit. So I have degreaser in these bottles, some freshly waxed chains. I keep these SRAM containers to keep my chains prepared in. This is the powdering box that I use for race powder. chain tools and everything, connecting links. And here's the box stored in these protein powder bottles. Yeah, plenty of stuff right there. Actually, I'm running quite low, but that should be good enough for a couple of seasons. So this is my little crock pot for the chains, string stand, and some parts again that are going to be used in my cyclocross bike build. So this is a brake set. These are not really important to have as spares. The most important ones are basically on this shelf, so really the essential things. Okay, so I think I have covered everything. I hope you have found this interesting and found a bit of inspiration to know what are you going to need for a workshop or service course, dare I say. But if you want to see more about the bikes themselves, then don't forget to tune into my channel and subscribe and check out my other videos. It's all for today. Thanks for watching and see you next time.